Hey, it's your host, Michaela Gordon of So Funny It Hurts, where we interview your favorite funny people and explore the trauma that made them that way. The more fucked up, the better. Now, I'm so excited about this week's guest because I not only hosted a national LGBTQ morning show for 5 years and felt like I had every opportunity to interview some of my most favorite queens. There were opportunities where I didn't, and I slid into this queen's DMs, honey, and when we finally became friends, she was like, yeah, bitch, I see your DMs now. Psycho. Please welcome from season 13, Elliott with 2 T's to the show.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, beauty. First of all, you're such a woman after my heart. Anything leopard, it's the Italian in me. I just want to scream.
I love, I think 90s tacky fashion is everything.
No, you look gorgeous.
It makes me think of, Shania and just Mimi from Drew Carey show. Just, tacky 90s fashion,
yes.
I think is fabulous.
Yes, she said, let's go, girls. She really did say, let's go, girls, that bitch.
Right.
But a little too hard. Look at this stupid fucking boot. Swear to God. Got it on Amazon for Cyber Monday sales.
So I need to know, so you're just wearing the boot for fun?
Could you imagine? I was like, I want to wear this. No, what happened was I don't have insurance and I refused to pay because I'm always healthy. So I said, bitch, I don't need insurance. And then I hurt my Achilles heel. And now I don't want to go to the doctor. So I've self-diagnosed. I Googled everything. Basically, I am a doctor. And I bought this boot because it said it would bring me relief. And it's brought me quite a bit of relief. So I don't know, between this and fucking Ben Gay.
Oh my God.
Do you need anything? This could be a doctor's visit. Do you have any ailments? Because I'm a doctor now.
I'm a former dancer. I'm a professional dancer. So my body is giving up on me daily as we speak.
Listen, if I could have been anything, I wish my whore of a mother kept me in dance class. I'm obsessed with dance. It's just so beautiful, so amazing. What kind of dance did you do?
So I've been trained in ballet since I was 5 years old.
I swear to God, I love ballerinas.
Just bitter with your mother.
Just hate her. That's why I made a whole podcast about
her. Yeah, I've been a dancer since I was 5 years old. I went to an arts magnet school. And then after high school and everything, I had a couple of years to figure my life out. And then I went and worked on cruise ships as a dancer.
Oh my God, I love cruise ships.
Yeah.
Those are the best gigs, I feel like.
Do you do on and off gigs with ships?
I don't. I've done only a few. I did it with Livia, which is a lesbian cruise line that I did. I know, and they're wonderful. We actually went to Israel and Greece last year.
Oh, fun.
I sang and Lisa DJ'd, and the women are incredible. And that was the first experience that I've had with cruise ships, and I love it. I feel
what
like
an amazing first experience to have with cruise ships.
I had been. Let me say, they were my first experience. We went and did other trips before, but the most recent was Israel and Greece, and it was amazing. Mm-hmm. It was so wonderful.
I loved working on ships, but I hated living at work.
Yeah.
That was the only downside to it. I loved everything about it. I loved the guests. I loved the experiences. I loved being on the beach twice a week, but there was no escape. There was no, I'm having a crappy day. I just want to, scream and be bitchy and emotional. And you couldn't do that because you were at work 24/7.
Yeah.
And so that was the only downside. But that's what inspired me to move to Vegas, because Vegas is a cruise ship. You have the resorts, you have the buffets, you have the production shows, you have the casinos. So it's a cruise ship, but I get to go home at night.
That's such a great way to put it. I'm from Vegas, and then I lived in LA for almost 20 years, and we just came back. And the city has grown so much, but the city is so fun. And there's absolutely no way you cannot have your needs met in Vegas. Whether you want to do something, go eat, want to chill, whatever.
Right.
24/7.
Well, see, for me, it was a culture shock because I grew up on a farm in Texas. I grew up so small, farm town living. I know, shocker. My job was to get the chicken eggs before the bus to school every day. I'm not kidding. This is my real life.
That's wild.
Yeah, I know. And now I'm a cross-dresser in Vegas. Go figure.
And the most beautiful one. And made it on national television, honey.
Right.
With those dancing knees and glam. That's wild. I want to get into where you grew up. And I want to get into Drag Race and everything. Yeah. But I love that you're living in Vegas.
Yes.
Has it been everything you thought it would be?
I mean, What I love about Vegas, I mean, for me personally, growing up on such a small farm in tiny, tiny conservative Texas town, I never had a pizza delivered to my house because we grew up so far out in the country. So moving to Vegas, it was a culture shock of like, I can have anything at any time. And I mean, even this past Friday, we had friends that were like, hey, we rented out a private suite at T-Mobile. Do you want to go see Enrique and Ricky and blah, blah,
Fabulous.
blah?
Wait, I want you to move your mic a little bit closer to your beautiful face too to make sure. Chase, can you hear? Does it need to be closer?
We're good.
We're moving.
Okay.
I'm
live in
rocking and
time.
rolling.
So it just, what I love about Vegas is that you can always do something. You can always go somewhere to eat. There's always a show. There's always a friend in town. And I just love the excitement of that. But
Yeah.
I also love that I get to go home at night. I get to go to our little Summerlin bubble and escape.
I love Summerlin.
It's fabulous.
I love it.
I love living there. And it's wonderful. And we're so connected to everything. Our airport is incredible. You can get anywhere direct.
It's amazing.
It's fabulous.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love that. I love meeting you in person because I feel like, we see so many of the queens on the shows or in performing.
Mm-hmm.
And so you never know what the vibe is going to be.
Right.
Will you be coming in 100? Will you be coming in hot? Will you
Yeah.
be coming? But you have such a beautiful and calm nature about yourself, which is so relaxing, even for someone like me who comes in 1,000 half the time.
Right.
You have such a cool, calm manner.
Oh, thank you.
I love that about you.
I think it's just from I think it comes from mass chaos throughout my life. Honestly, I grew up with a single mom of 5 kids. Or I was one of 5 kids, and we had a single mom, and we grew up with child support, food stamps, the whole 9. And me and my siblings are all different. I have an older sister who's a Bible thumper and is just, holier than thou and better than all of us. Love you, Christy. I have an older brother who's a drug addict, who's been in and out of jail, who has 4 kids with 3 different women, and just all of that mess and drama.
Mm-hmm.
I have a little brother who's also gay, who is married and is about to graduate from college. And then my little sister has 2 kids, and she's barely 21, and she's just chaos. And so I think I finally found peace and tranquility in the craziness because of getting away from Texas and finding my little place in the world and finding where I'm happy and can just be comfortable.
I love that so much. And also congratulations, because I feel like people spend a lifetime looking for that kind of peace and tranquility, especially when you come from, a maybe not so ideal life. I also single mom, drug addiction everywhere. So I totally get that.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing, even more so, that coming from Ennis, Texas,
Yeah.
one of 5, it was already probably a lot coming out as straight and just kidding. I think it's always a lot coming out as gay.
Yes.
And then going on a national show also as a drag queen, like when you were little, because there's a lot of controversy around drag queens right
Yes.
now. And I would just like to say, and I've said this as many times as I can, and I'll continue to, I was really bullied in high school. I didn't have any money. I was funny. So the girls ended up being nice to me.
Yeah.
But by the time I had done American Idol, I did an event at 16 and I went backstage at this AIDS event and it was all drag queens. And I had never, I was only 16. I
Yeah.
hadn't met any drag queens yet. And the way that they scooped me, it's as if they saw that and just
Yeah.
knew that I also didn't have any parents with me. You just know your own people, I feel
Yes.
like. And they grabbed me and put banana powder under my eyes, put it in my bag, taught me how to do my makeup, my beat. And from that day on, I was raised by drag queens. I moved right
See,
to
I
West
love
Hollywood.
that.
And I don't know what I would have done. It's so funny to me that I became a woman because of drag queens.
Isn't that funny?
And they changed my life, like in such a way. So what was your first exposure to queens? I mean, surely it fucking taking eggs out of chickens
right.
wasn't.
I have the best mother in the world. The absolute best mother in the world. When I was, I guess a toddler, she she knew I was gay. She knew I was gay before I knew what it was. And so as a baby, as a toddler, all I wanted was Barbies. And she would happily get them for me because she knew that's what I loved. And she wouldn't get them to appease me. She would get them and go, this one's beautiful. He's going to love this one. So she was so excited for me to love whatever I loved. And so I can't even tell you how old I was. I had Tu Wong Fu on VHS.
Oh my God.
And my mom had gotten it for me. And so
Wow.
that was my first exposure to Queens. And I still to this day remember being so confused in the opening sequence whenever the one queen runs off stage and does the quick change and they take his bra off and he has a bare like man's chest. And I still to this day remember the moment where I was like, what is happening? I'm so confused. I don't understand. But
it was like magic.
It was magic. And I believe everything in life is a circle. Everything comes back to you. I've now gotten to work with one of the drag queens that was in that movie as one of the queens. His name is Kevin, and he's a dancer in LA, and he was one of Madonna's dancers in her Blonde Ambition tour. Mm-hmm. But he also danced for Debbie Gibson, who's a good girlfriend of mine, and we did a music video together, and I got to meet him, and I didn't even realize that was him until after I met him and everything like that. And it's just the way those circles happen and the people you meet and how everything comes back to you, it's overwhelming, but it's magical.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that your mother was so supportive.
Oh, yeah, my mom.
And I think that that's incredible because you do. I think that everybody needs their mom. And I think that you need that support. And it does go to show it doesn't matter where you come from. Mm-hmm. You have the support.
Absolutely.
So when you came out, was it a very easy coming out?
My mom, well, for one thing, I came out when I was 10 years old.
Oh, you were a baby.
I was a baby. I don't think I knew what it meant, but I knew that I was different. And it wasn't about sexuality per se. It was more of I knew I was different. I knew that I didn't like football. I knew I didn't like weapons. I liked Barbies and being a dancer and girly things. And my mom, first she cried, and whenever she cried, I thought, oh no, I've done something horrible. I shouldn't have said anything. But she cried because she said she was so honored that I trusted her with that information.
What is your mother's name?
Her name is Robin.
Robin, you are welcome to this show any day, anytime. If we all had mothers like you, we would be in such a... Well, we wouldn't have comedy because we need it for the...
We need
Actually,
the trauma.
Robin, stay where you are, okay? We need the trauma, and I've just uninvited you. But you're a phenomenal mother, and we all need you. That's incredible.
Yeah, she was... But also then on the flip side of it, she always knew. So it wasn't shocking to her, but it was the fact that I felt comfortable enough to tell her was so incredible to her. But then after that, she said, well, that's fine, but... You're 10 years old, you need to focus on your homework, you need to focus on doing chores, like gay isn't an issue, it's not a thing. But because of where I lived, in rural, small town Texas, every day before school, she would tell me, fly under the radar. Every single day, until all through high school, she would say, fly under the radar, which means to exist, but not to make any waves, not to bring unnecessary attention to myself, not to dull my sparkle, but genuinely out of concern for my safety.
Right. And you understood that at 10. You knew she wasn't trying to dim your light.
No.
It was more of a necessity.
To me, it was just normal. I knew, I knew in my head and in my heart, I wasn't going to stay in Ennis. I wasn't going to stay in Texas. And so I knew this is temporary. I knew school is temporary.
At 10 years old, you were able to tell yourself, I'm not going to stay here and this is temporary.
Yeah, I knew that.
But that's amazing.
I don't know how.
That's what I'm saying. That's the point of making. Like, what the fuck, where you were able to say at 10 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, I hear that. I mean, it's incredible.
It's crazy. And even thinking back on it now, I'm like, who was I?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of weird kid was I?
I mean, listen, I hope that you honor that 10-year-old every time you go on stage and every day that you live. Because I know that we always have the conversations about protect your inner children, but your baby, your baby was so sweet. So how did you, because obviously you're very, very funny. You're very calm, but when it's time to go on, bitch, you're the show.
Right.
What was it, or at what point in your life did you realize one, that you were so funny, and that it was okay to be funny and still fly under the radar, because that's kind of difficult to do.
Honestly, it was whenever I could make all of the Black girls laugh.
Fine,
If
say
you,
less. If you can make,
yeah,
as a singer, I'm like, if the Black people like me, I don't care about what anybody else thinks.
exactly. And so I had this army of girls that did like me, and I was always just that one little white boy that would sit at the table with all the Black girls, and they were just they have this energy and this passion and this power and this beauty about them that, I mean, just Black women in general have this energy and this power and this beauty that, I mean, even as a queen, we're drawn to. We're drawn to that. We want to emulate it. And it's just beautiful. And they just didn't care that I was the bullied little white boy. They just saw that I had something about me. And we would just laugh and kiki and act a fool because we would all sit together before school because we would be on the early buses to get to school. And there was a power in them that I always wanted, and I wanted to have a little piece of. And I just, to this day, like, Portia Washington, I love you so much. I love you, girl. She just, the whole group of girls, Tiffany English, hey, girl.
These are the girls that you went to school with?
Yeah.
And do you still keep in touch with them?
I mean, in this day and age, we'll like each other's posts.
Right,
and
of course,
like
of course.
But yeah, that's just.
So you still follow each other on social media?
Yeah. After being on Drag Race, there was this little flicker of support that I got from Ennis, which I never expected.
Wow.
Where I had teachers that were my teachers in school that said them and their husband are watching me. And then I had girls that I went to school with that are like, me and my husband are watching you, and my kids are watching you. And so there was a little flicker of.
Gives me goosebumps.
Oh, it was same. Like, it was overwhelming and powerful to have support from people that I thought I would never have support from. Because I kind of pushed that part of my life away. Because like I said, I knew it was temporary. I'm going to get out of here.
Yeah.
And to have that support where people were messaging me and going, they were so proud of me and they thought it was amazing, was so beautiful. It was absolutely magical.
I love that you talk about Black girl magic, because Black women raised me. And the woman that literally is my mother is this magical Black woman named Sky. Lord, if you follow me, you've seen all of her antics. She's the real star of this duo. And I love her so much. You went on to do Drag Race.
Yes.
And there was controversy around some of the queens saying that you were racist, or that you felt these ways. And I went back and I looked at all of it. And how devastating was it to you, first of all, to be criticized on a national television show just in general? Fuck me up. Like, already that's very difficult. And then to have this love and appreciation for these beautiful Black women that you grew up with, to then have that be something that they called you in such a national level.
Well, what's so difficult about it is I know that I have so much love for people. And that, I think, is what hurt the most, because every single time I perform now, I worry there's going to be somebody in the audience who bought into that. And they're going to say something to me, or they're going to yell at me, or they're going to hurt me. Every single time now that I perform, I have that anxiety, that fear. And I know that they just did it to honestly ruin me, because we're in this crazy competition that it gets to them. I knew we were filming a reality show, but some of them really took it so seriously, like it's make or break. Like, we have to take somebody out to be able to shine. But if you're a star, you can shine on your own. You don't have to dim anybody else to shine. And so it's just some very insecure people that, I mean, at this point in my life, I would have never said that they were threatened by me, because I don't think I'm enough to be threatening to people. But they were threatened by me. And they saw that I was very talented and I'm good at what I do, and they didn't like that. And so they wanted to throw me under the bus, and they did it publicly. And I don't think they understand or necessarily care what it has actually done to me. It has affected me. It has affected jobs. It has affected me getting gigs. It has affected my following. I mean, I get death threats.
You still get death threats?
Yes, and it's been since 2021, since it aired. I still get horrible messages from people. And it's just, the fans of Drag Race are so obsessed with it and so passionate about it. If somebody says something, that's like God's word. That's it.
Yeah,
That
right.
is the fact of everything, whether it's true or not. And so if their favorite queen says something, that has to be the truth.
Yeah.
Even if the queen that's their favorite is a horrible, terrible person.
Well, we're watching cancel culture. We're watching cancel culture right now with Matt Rife. He's
Yeah.
on his tour. He made a joke about domestic abuse, and
Right.
now the world is calling for canceling, while simultaneously his fans are not allowing that to happen. Like, I feel like we're at this interesting crossroads
Right.
where cancel culture was very big in 2020,
Yes.
2021. I feel like now people are trying to get a grip of cancel culture. So there is a mass that's like, I don't care what they say, what they
Right.
do as a comedian. We're not canceling them.
Right.
While the other half is like still very, it's over, it's over.
Right.
It's very difficult, I believe, with comedians. Part of the reason I don't do stand up is because I'm terrified I did
Right.
stand up.
Mhm.
I quit doing stand up because I was terrified I was going to get canceled for a joke I made.
Well, think if Joan Rivers was still around.
Hello.
Do you think she wouldn't work right now because of the way that people are? There's been a loss of, wow, that was crazy that she said that. Oh my God, that's hilarious, but that's horrible. And then just move on with
any
your life.
and all comedians, Sam Kinison,
Yes.
done. I mean, there's so many. Andrew Dice Clay would have been done.
Right.
I think it's just wild to see that happen. Do you think that even with drag queens that they should, it's not a pass,
Mhm.
but having the understanding from an audience, one, that it's a reality show,
Mhm.
and two, even if you're not a comedy queen,
Right.
you're still doing Snatch Game.
Right.
You're still making people laugh.
Right.
Do you think that there should be some sort of like, what would be the best word? Not pass. I don't want to say pass, but just understanding of what's going on.
I just think that in this current day and age, we've kind of lost the joy and the humor in things. And I think that we're taking things that people may have said as who they are.
Right.
Like, Matt probably doesn't support domestic abuse, but he said it like as a tongue-in-cheek moment. And if you didn't find it funny, you didn't find it funny. But somebody there probably thought it was hilarious. But I think humor comes from trauma. I think humor comes from a dark place. And like I said, Joan Rivers, if she was around today, I just saw clips of her things she said on Fashion Police just recently online resurface. And people are like, oh my God. Like, how could she say that when her whole career was based on the how could she say that?
Right. It was the shock factor as well.
Yes. And I just think that I think we need to calm down.
Yeah. That's really all it is.
I think we need to calm down and just kind of, if it's not for you, if you didn't think it was funny, if you don't like me, if you don't like anything I've said, half the time it's things I haven't even said, that it's the things that are getting me in trouble. It's things
Right.
other people have said that I've said, which I've never said. So I think everybody needs to stop being like a CSI investigator, an Instagram, detective, a Twitter detective. I think everybody just needs to calm down.
Well, and I also think, listen, I joke about mental health because I have mental health issues. Like,
Same.
hello, bitch.
Same.
And if there's anything that you would ever need to know, let me know. I've done the therapy, the ketamine,
Yeah.
all the things. I get it. But one thing it does say in so many of the books or whatever the fuck is, you have to have room to make mistakes.
Absolutely.
And sometimes we say things that are out of pocket. Sometimes we do things out of pocket. I for sure have. I also don't know how I would grow if I didn't make the mistake.
Exactly.
I'm very stubborn. I like to experience things firsthand. If you tell me don't touch the oven, it's hot, I'm going to flick it.
Right, but should we cancel you for touching the oven?
Well, it depends on how bad the dish turned out.
She ruined the pie, y'all. She's
Get her out.
canceled.
Thanksgiving's over. We hate her. Yeah. Oh, Thanksgiving's canceled, so I just got canceled for saying that too.
Canceled.
You know what? Just fucking cancel me. Enough. Thank you for acknowledging that and talking about that, because I know that that's. I would feel like that's a lot. Like it was a lot, and I feel bad that was such a storyline for you.
Yeah.
We've now moved on. We're going into 2024. Mm-hmm. You did mention having fear going on stage.
Yeah.
I find that that's a reoccurring thing that comedians talk about on this show. Also singers. I feel like since this Will Smith incident of him getting punched on stage, do you find that with the controversy around being a queen, that has also heightened people to feel?
100%. Every time I see something on the news about, like, you know, these Nazi groups showing up to drag shows and these people just being horribly scary and just showing up and, 20, 30 guys coming in with hoods on where you can't see their faces showing up to drag shows, I find myself at my show here in Vegas looking around going, people could just come up from the street right there, or a group could be hiding over there and come out right there during the show. It terrifies me.
Yeah.
Like, we're just trying to play dress up and have a good time. And the people that come to our shows came willingly, and they wanted to come and they wanted to have a good time and get drunk on mimosas. Like, that's all they wanted to do.
Hello.
And so it truly terrifies me, because I know people who have dealt with, we had Club Q shooting. Like, stuff like that, I think about that because it's truly terrifying.
And that's and I don't want to make this a political thing, because I hate politics.
Hello.
Now, I'm just, it's very, it's a lot. So just talking, the places like Q Club are the safe spaces where they want gays and drag queens. There's no children there. It's a nightclub. Right. You're allowed to do whatever you want. It's a gay club. You can be on stage and you should feel safe. You're exactly where people say you should be.
Right.
So why is there still things happening? What is that fear? Like, that
doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
It's so confusing. It's like saying, go back to where you came from.
And then you go back to where you came from.
And then they're still mad. Right. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think it's like, if you want to let us have our own spaces, just let us have our own spaces. We're not showing up to the honky tonk girl. We're not showing up.
Might, because I started listening to Morgan Wallen, and I think I like country music. Just don't even judge me on that. Lisa's so over me, my fiance, who's a hip hop DJ. She's like, "This is what you're Italian and Jewish," and I'm like, "I like it. I don't know what to say." So you being from Texas is right up my alley. I said, Lord,
so funny.
I love it, and I want to come visit your mother, Robin.
Yes. Well, she was actually born in Michigan, and so she's like a cultural mutt, because like she was born in Michigan, but then she went to high school in Dallas. Then she moved to Pennsylvania, had all of us. Then we moved back to Texas.
Okay, so that makes sense why she's so fierce, because she was able to live, see different things, different type of people.
Oh yeah, she grew up like listening to Motown.
Robin.
Yeah.
Is a bad bitch.
She's that girl.
Robin is that girl. Robin is that girl.
Like, so she raised me listening to Diana Ross and the Jackson 5 and stuff like that.
Come on.
So I had Tu Wong Fu and Jackson 5. Well, she was like
a star.
Right. She knew I was gay, so she said, I don't want you to be like a dumb gay. I want you to be a well-versed, educated gay.
She said, honey, if you're going to be a gay, you're going to be the best gay.
You're going to be the gay.
I love Robin.
She's amazing. She's my biggest fan. She shows up to all my shows whenever I have shows in Texas. She always wears a shirt that has my face on it. She'll butt dial me at the grocery store, and I'll be like, hello, hello. And she's telling the girl checking her out at the grocery store, my son is a drag queen. He's so beautiful. He's famous. You should follow him on it. And then she'll message me and go, this girl named Jessica just followed you on Instagram. You're welcome.
Robin, listen, so clearly mama trauma is not what you suffer from. Daddy drama.
Oh, of course.
Did your father, if you don't mind me, did your father
course.
ever reach out after you were on the show? Has fame played any part in that relationship?
So my dad never really was a part of my life, obviously.
His loss.
Well, and honestly, that's how I feel, because he idolized my older brother who played sports. He did baseball. He was very athletic, and that's what my dad wanted. And but then turns out my older brother's a drug addict and a high school dropout and et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And here I am with a spouse and dogs.
Isn't
and a
that wild
house.
how that
Isn't
happens?
that crazy? And so he reached out, I think, to one of my siblings to tell them that he had watched me on the show. But he went on to then turn it back into it being about him and how back in the day he had a friend in the military who was a cross-dresser and whatever. So it went away from, I'm proud of you, that's amazing what you've done. I never really got that. I watched you on the show and I know about what you're doing because I had a friend in the military who was a cross-dresser. So it kind of went the way that I expected it to.
Right.
But I'm at peace with that. I wish Robin a happy Father's Day because she raised me on both ends of the spectrum when it comes to being my mother and my father. I mean, she was a bad bitch in a minivan, raising all
Come
five of
on,
us.
bad bitch in a minivan. That might have to go on the merch line quoted from
bad
you, my
bitch
queen.
in a minivan.
Come
She
on.
was.
I feel like that totally... I feel that way about my sister. I feel like she's a bad bitch in a minivan. And we need bad bitches in minivans.
Yes,
The mothers of the world are truly the most important.
Yes, the ones who just, you're not going to treat my child that way. I am Mama Bear. Get in the van. Like, that's it. That's the women who run this country.
I love you so much. I love that so much. So obviously, Robin plays a huge part in your life,
Yes.
and probably is, a motivation in a lot of ways.
Yes.
With everything that's happened, negative, positive, getting on stage and still being afraid, what's your worth it moment?
My worth it moment is honestly whenever I am out in public, not even in drag, and somebody will recognize me. It happens a lot at airports. And they just get so excited. And because I don't feel like I'm famous. I don't feel like I've felt the same way about being a performer and a dancer and stuff since I was a little kid. So I've always known my trajectory. Since I was little, I said, I'm going to be doing big things one day. It's just a matter of time. I've always had that ambition, that hunger. And so I knew at some point something like this would happen. But I don't feel like I'm anyone significant or life-changing. And so whenever I meet strangers who come up to me and say, I loved you on the show, I think you were so amazing. I was in Paris at Disneyland in Paris, and I had a family. It was a husband, a wife, and their 2 toddlers come up to me and say, the 4 of us watched you on the show. And the little girl, the dad said, who is that? Do you know who that is? And she said, that's Elliott. I couldn't believe it. And they wanted to take pictures with me like I was Mickey Mouse. It was just moments like that are so magical for me because it's exciting and beautiful and wonderful every time it happens because somebody cared about me and somebody saw my spirit and my heart through this, manufactured reality show. They saw the soul and the heart in what I do. And that's just, it's that feeling. It's magical. It's fabulous.
Yeah. I love that. And I love watching you talk about it. It's so genuine. And you can feel what it means to you watching you talk about it.
It does, because it's just, honestly, there's a lot of girls from the franchise who are not very kind to the fans. And they just don't want to take pictures. They don't want to say hi. And so a lot of times people are intimidated to come up to me. And so whenever they do come up to me and they talk to me, they're like, oh my God, I was afraid to come talk to you because you were on Drag Race, but you're so nice.
Yeah.
And I honestly hate that. But then I also love it because I know I am nice. I'm wonderful. I'm so sweet.
You're so sweet.
And I love to be sweet to people.
Yeah, before even this interview, when I met you, you were so lovely.
Oh.
And I feel like that's so nice. It is rare sometimes that
Yeah.
people aren't lovely. And so, and I don't, it doesn't bother me, but as somebody who adores and is such big fans, I mean, that could be a really big deal for them to meet you or to not
and
have
that
a
could
good
be
experience.
and that could be their only time interacting with someone that they've ever seen on TV.
Right.
Or first time ever interacting with a drag queen. Those are things that
There's a lot of responsibility. I didn't even think about that.
Because it could be some corn-fed family from Wisconsin who's never met a drag queen before, and they have this image in their head that we're, like child rapists and all this other stuff. And so if they have a negative experience with me, that could just further their interpretation of who we are as entertainers.
Right.
And so not only do I want them to have a positive, beautiful experience with me when they do meet me, that's just genuinely how I feel. It's just, I'm happy to see you. I'm happy that you're excited to see me. That means so much.
Yeah.
And so it just comes from a genuine place, but it is kind of a big deal to make sure that that moment is special for them, because that could be their only moment with a drag queen or someone they've ever seen on TV.
Yeah.
It's a big deal for them. And so I think it's important for us to make sure that we make it special for them, because that's why we went on TV.
Hello. Yeah.
Like,
I know. I love that you put it down like that, because it's exciting. Not everyone's from Vegas. Not everyone's from LA. Not everyone has the opportunity, and it's such a big deal.
right.
They love you because you are so fierce at Snatch Game. If you could go back on, who would you play? Who would you like to do again? Have you thought about it? If ever you had the chance to do it again, because you're very funny.
So I would go back. So I grew up, well, I didn't grow up with her, but I've known her since I was about 12 years old, was Laganja. From, I can't remember what
I love
season she's
Laganja. I know. We've had her on the show so many times. Not this one, my other one. Oh my God, is she so amazing or
So
what?
When I was 12 years old, I believe she was 15, we did a national Broadway tour show together.
Stop!
Yes, we were in Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Okay.
And we were both, and we were both in the children's choir. And so that was my first time meeting her. And then we both went to the same high school. We both went to the same arts magnet school. But she was a couple grades above me. But she's the one who inspired me to go, because I was talking to her about it when we did the show together. And I was like,
God.
That's the dream. Like, that's incredible. And so we've known each other for quite a few years. And I just kind of get her aloof, like situation. I get it. And I could sell the whole fantasy.
Okay, wait. You don't have to do it. You can say absolutely not. Could you give us a 30-second of Laganja?
Come on, podcast. How you doing, Miss Mamas? Yes, nails. Yes, rings. Yes, one boot. Come on, one boot. Like,
Come on, one boot.
Like, it's, I hate to say.
Wait, I'm obsessed with your Laganja. I wish I could FaceTime Laganja right now.
Right, like,
Oh my God, I love that bitch, and that was so good.
it's just,
Come on, boot.
come on, one boot.
One ring.
Come on, Achilles. Like, it's her aloofness. It's the delivery of her just like ridiculousness that I love so much.
Come
and
on, Achilles.
we're both Southern as a biscuit. And we pretend that we're not, but we are. We do. And I adore Laganja so much.
Me too.
I categorize the girls from the show by if they respond to a text from me. If they respond to a text or a DM, if they do, that to me is like, you're real.
Yeah.
Like, I see you. Laganja will always respond to me. Shangela always responds to me. Mariah Paris Balenciaga always responds to me. Jasmine Masters always responds to me. So there's like, to me, that makes you real. Like, you're a real, genuine person. Jessica Wilde always responds.
Love Jessica Wilde. Oh, I
There's
love
a
all
lot
these
of girls.
queens.
There's a lot of girls that will always respond, and there's other girls that I've been waiting to get a text back since 2011.
Same.
So it just, that to me makes you genuine. I mean, it's a text. Oh, you could just hit flick an emoji and call it a response. And
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Right.
I accept that. But Laganja's a real girl. I love her.
We love Laganja.
Yes, love you.
Love you. Love you, Mama. We got to have her on the show, too. If she comes to Vegas and does the show, you got to come back. We'll do it
I'll
together.
text her.
I love her. I adore her. I actually I went to a birthday party where it was just the four of us. And I really got to see such a beautiful side of Laganja. We've spent a lot of time together, but there's also something very genuine and calming about Laganja that I love because she is so mama.
Yes.
But when it's low key, it's so soft.
Absolutely.
And I love that. I love to have to see those two sides, which is what you have as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think as performers, we all have that dual purpose personality where we can be the larger than life person because that's kind of required of our jobs.
Right.
We have to, they're not going to bring in some like calming zen.
Could you imagine if we did a show and we're like, welcome everyone.
Right. Welcome to the bottomless drag brunch.
Hey guys, it's Michaela.
Are you guys ready to get drunk today?
Do you guys want to go off?
Yes, mama.
Yes, mama. Boots down.
We would sell no tickets. Like nobody wants to go to the NPR brunch. Nobody wants to go to the NPR brunch. And so we all have that other side of us where we can be larger than life. We can be exciting. We can be
Eduardo,
ridiculous.
book us for NPR brunch. Book us for ASMR brunch. Could you imagine? We said, go boots down.
Yes, the house down boots, mama. Like nobody wants that. And so, but I think as performers, we do also have those times where we can be completely off. Like my during the weekdays when I don't have shows, I am a recluse at home with my dogs, and that's it. And so it's very difficult to get us out of the house during the week.
Yeah.
Because we have to give so much of ourselves to these people.
And I think, break this down because I feel the same way. When it's time to go home, I'm home.
Yes.
I'm on Do Not Disturb.
Yes.
I love being alone. I also love my time with Lisa, my fiance. But it is required in order for me to show up. And I think sometimes the biggest misconception is because it looks easy, it is. Yes. I mean, you make it look so easy.
Yes.
But it's not.
No. And like I said, you have to have that. You have to be at a 10 because, again, the people that come to our shows, maybe that's the first time they've ever experienced that type of show, or it's been their dream to meet a queen from Drag Race. So you have to give them your all when you're present in that moment at that show, at that gig, at that function. And so it's exhausting. As wonderful as it is and as magical as it is and as much as I absolutely love what I do, I need to do nothing.
And also I think it doesn't matter how you feel the day of the gig.
Right.
The day of the gig, I remember when I lost my grandma in 2020, and it was one of the most devastating moments in my life. I also had to show up to a gig, and I obviously didn't want to. And I had to.
Yeah.
And nobody cared that my grandma died.
Yeah.
Nobody cared about anything.
Yeah.
I just had to show up. And where I think that for entertainers, it doesn't matter what happened to you that morning, what's about to happen. You have to put all of that aside and you have to show up as a 10.
Yeah, I had to do brunches like the day after my grandmother died as well. And I had to, and in the dressing room they knew, but on stage, I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be here. High kick, jump split.
And that's a lot on your nervous system.
Yes.
It's a psychological exhaustion as well.
Absolutely. It really is like you have to, what did they say? What is the phrase where it's like you cry through a smile or something like that? Like, it's just, I think that's the life of a performer is you cry.
Chase, what is it?
What do you mean?
Well, you're so smart, my little smarty
There's something.
pants. What's the phrase?
There's something where it's like
laughing through the tears.
Yeah, something like that. You got to laugh through the tears.
Chase, just Google it.
Okay, I'll Google it.
Because I actually love the idea of that phrase because it is so true.
It's so true, and people don't.
And it's also
realize
heartbreaking.
That. No, it is.
It's so sad.
I remember whenever I worked on cruise ships, I was so real with the passengers. I was always so real. They were like, "How are you today?" I was like, "Girl, I'm so tired." I'm like, "Why do y'all want to get off this boat at 7 o'clock in the morning? What's wrong with y'all?" And they loved me for that. But then on stage, I was just up there high kicking, living my best life. But I think the ones that some passengers that I got to know and I became close with, and we still, are connected now, they understood, like, as performers, we're real people. We do have days where we feel like crap, but you still have to show up.
Yeah.
You still have to show up. And in our line of work, we have to show up in a different way that someone else can, kind of lessen their load to cope and to deal with whatever they're going through. We don't have that luxury.
Well, and I think that's literally how So Funny It Hurts was birthed. I mean, it was like truly Robin Williams' situation, exactly what you're explaining, that with comedians, it doesn't matter what pain you're going through, you have to show up to help lessen a pain that the audience is feeling, or sadness or depression. A lot of people come to comedy shows, not all but some, to distract, to help cope with something very sad. We're the funny guys. We're the on guys.
People come to drag shows for the exact same reasons. They come, I've performed at a wake before. Because like, I'm not even kidding. No, wait.
I'm not.
So
acknowledge it. This bitch just said it's very difficult. I had to perform at a wake one time.
No, I told you I'm a yes girl. I will say yes to the function. If you don't
break down this motherfucking story right now.
So
she said I performed at a wake one time, and
so what happened was
house down, boots down. Okay, no, by all means, please tell me about this.
So one of Beau's, my husband's clients, had a Nana that passed away. And back in the 80s, she used to like run the streets with rock stars and drag queens and all this stuff. And so Nana passed away. And so they wanted me to come perform at her like celebration of life, whatever. And it was just at one of these bougie houses in Summerlin. And so I'm getting ready in like the spare bedroom. And they have a little speaker on the coffee table, and the phone's connected, and they have a little karaoke machine microphone, and she straight up goes, "Nana, this is for you. Hit it." And I come out of the bedroom.
Nana, this is for you. And what was the song that was for Nana?
Queen of the Night.
I need everyone to leave me alone. She said, "Nana, this is for you." And I'm the queen of the night. And I'm the queen of the night. Oh yeah. And you were like, "Oh yeah."
And I couldn't decide what song to do because they knew I was a dancer, and I didn't want to like pop my pussy and death drop and jump split like for Nana.
We're popping this pussy for Nana!
And then the best part was halfway through the song, the phone that was connected to the speaker started ringing. And so I was like, "Yay, Nana! Yay! We love you, Nana!"
Not the fucking phone. And I'm the queen of the night.
Okay.
That's okay. That's a much better story than when I performed to a wake that I was not asked to perform at. Lisa's grandmother died, and I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me, but I sang the Ave Maria all growing up, and I like to fix things. When people are sad, I immediately like to fix anything.
Right.
And I was like, "Don't worry, I'll perform." First of all, nobody in her family asked me to perform. Not a fucking one. Okay, no one asked me to do anything. And I was like, "That's okay, I'll sing Ave Maria." I called my piano player.
First natural choice.
Yeah, that was exactly what I wanted to do. I felt like her grandmother Rose would have loved it. I absolutely had my piano player meet me there. And I definitely went up there. Nobody wanted me to do it. Ave Maria. And then, because I know that I'm so emotional and I was looking at Lisa, I started crying harder than anybody. Couldn't finish the Ave Maria and had to escort myself out. And I was like, "Bitch, you're just doing the most at all times. And I hate you for this." Thank God I didn't have the boot. I would have been like,
No, as performers, we do the most, even if it's not in the best interest of ourselves or another.
And even if no one fucking asks us
no
to.
One asked.
No
well,
one wanted that.
I was asked.
No, you were. No, but you had a
for
full
Nana,
pass.
For Nana.
We did it for Nana. We popped that pussy for Nana. Shit.
I couldn't decide what to do, and it took me days to decide what song I wanted to do.
But it's brilliant.
Because she loved like 80s rock, and I was like,
God,
what do I do?
It.
Like, do I do like She's
Pour
My
some
Cherry
sugar on me.
just hair flipping and all this on the coffee table.
Wait, could this be a business though? Because like truly, if there's, we could go into business on this, killing it.
Well, as Vegas people, we do the random gigs.
Yeah, we do.
Like
We'll do it.
not long ago, I did, I was a witness for a wedding in Fremont Street. And the people on the phone were like, we've never been requested for you to, for a drag queen just to witness. But they said, just show up, take a couple pictures, witness them, and you're good. And I was like, down.
Okay.
And when I met them, they were the most like, it was like Uncle Scott and his girlfriend.
I love that.
Like they were the most like vanilla older couple I've ever met in my life. And they were just so excited to have me.
Oh my God, that's so cute
It
though.
was so funny, but it was so precious. Like it was the sweetest thing ever. But as Vegas people, we say yes to the gigs, to everything.
And the gigs ask a lot of us. I mean, in
Yes.
Vegas, things get wild. Is that the craziest thing that's happened to you in Vegas? Or what has been thus far?
I mean, the Wake is pretty up there.
Listen to me. I know there's really not much. There's no other place to go except
The Wake is
The
pretty
Wake was
up there.
iconic.
But I mean, living in Vegas, I've gotten to do some incredible things. Like I said, I'm good friends with Debbie Gibson because
So
I
cool.
showed up to be an extra in one of her music videos the year I moved here.
Who booked you on that? John Lakefelt?
No, his name is Brandon, and he lives in Thailand now.
Did you meet John Lakefelt, her hairdresser?
No, so funny story. My husband does her hair now.
Oh, amazing.
Yes. We can get into that a little later.
Yeah, okay, never mind. Just we'll go ahead and take this part out. No, we
Hi,
won't.
John. No,
Okay, takes a good turn.
I was asked to just be an extra in a music video, and I showed up in drag and didn't tell anybody. And so
Obsessed.
then the director was like, "You come here. And I was like, oh my God, they're gonna kick me out. And they ended up having me do like a whole acting scene with her.
Amazing.
And so we just kind of bonded and met, and we started talking and texting. And then I introduced her to my husband, and I was like, he does hair and makeup. And so then he ended up doing her hair for her album cover and for her holiday calendar, her People magazine spread. And then that's whenever I did the second music video for her where I met Kevin. I've gotten to work with Monique.
I love Monique.
Monique is one of the coolest people I've ever met. She wanted to do a full drag number at her stand-up comedy show when it was at SLS. And so we put her in full drag.
I'm obsessed.
She came, we had multiple rehearsals. She learned choreography. She lip-synced the whole song.
Amazing.
And she had backup dancers, like 5 drag queens and a bunch of boys. And she turned it out.
I'm obsessed.
She turned it out. It was everything.
I love that.
But things like that just happen in this city.
yeah.
Things like that. It's just random. And that's why I always say yes to things, because you have no idea. They didn't tell me it was Debbie for the music video. They said it's just a music video being filmed at Planet Hollywood. Do you want to go be a part of it? I had no idea that it was going to make me have 3 years of friendship with her.
I love that.
But it's just, you never know if you say no. You never know what it could lead to, what it could connect you to.
Big yes girl.
I've always been a yes girl.
Big yes girl with boundaries. Now.
Absolutely.
Now,
No, 100%.
I always said yes, and it actually, I will say this, with needing boundaries, saying yes wasn't always the worst thing I've ever done.
Right.
It did put so many things in my way, so I love that you said that. You've also said yes to the garden, where you are at now.
Yes.
So for people watching this, if they want to see you, if they come to Vegas, which they
Yes.
always do, how do people get to see you in action? What's going on?
So you need to come to the Garden Las Vegas. It is in the Arts District right by Fremont Street. It is cute. It's intimate. It's
so
small.
cute.
And we have incredible food. We have amazing brunch. And we have shows on Saturdays and Sundays every week. And we have just amazing girls that come in and do it. One of my season 13 sisters, Tamisha Iman, is in the cast.
Yes.
Yes, we have Jade Jolie from season
Yes.
5 of Drag Race.
Oh my God.
And then we have some incredible local girls. And it's different than any other brunch because it's so intimate. So you get to be right there up close and personal with us. And again, that could be a magical moment for someone because we're right there in your face.
And you're obviously phenomenal, and it's so much fun. I
It's
mean,
a lot of
it's
fun.
definitely a place to stop by when you're in town or if you're a local.
Yes, come see us. So, like I said, Garden Las Vegas. You can go to their Instagram, and they have a link to get tickets. It's so much fun.
That's so exciting. Okay, listen, I love you so much.
Yes, I
Please
love
come on
you.
whenever you want. Please, whatever you want to
Yes.
talk about. Thank you for your transparency also
Yes,
with
of
everything.
course.
And you really are so lovely.
Thank you, baby. I love you.
I love you.
I love me. I love you. I love us.
I know you can tell the self-love is real without being egotistical or any
Right.
of that. Like you really are just so genuine and I'm so happy for you. And your partner is the best. We love.
Shout
we
out to
love.
Bobo. I love you.
Oh, we love you so much. We're double dating soon. Thank you,
Yes.
Mama. I
Thank
love you. You look
you.
beautiful. And
Yes,
thank you
Mama.
for sharing somebody else. Awesome. Achilles, Mama. It's giving Achilles. Thank you, baby.
Mwah, thank you.
Love you.
Love you.
So Funny It Hurts is brought to you by Pacific West Injury Law. Got into an accident? Contact Pacific West Injury Law. Also, there's nothing better for your mental health than a great workout. And our episode is brought to you by Fit Club, the only place to be. It's so funny, it hurts.